Cybersecurity governance is the system of leadership, policies, processes, controls, accountability structures, and oversight mechanisms that ensure an organization effectively manages cyber risks while supporting strategic objectives, regulatory compliance, operational resilience, and stakeholder trust. As organizations increasingly rely on digital technologies, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, AI, connected ecosystems, and real-time data platforms, cybersecurity has evolved from a technical information technology issue into a strategic governance responsibility. For modern chief financial officers, CFOs, cybersecurity governance has become a core executive competency because cyber threats can significantly impact financial performance, business continuity, regulatory compliance, corporate reputation, and long-term enterprise value. Leading executive CFO programs emphasize that cyber risk is now considered an enterprise risk comparable to financial, operational, legal, or strategic risks. Ransomware attacks, data breaches, supply chain compromises, fraud, business email compromise, and cloud security failures have demonstrated that cyber incidents can disrupt operations, damage customer trust, create regulatory liabilities, and generate significant financial losses. Consequently, CFOs increasingly collaborate with Chief Information Security Officers, CISOs, Chief Information Officers, CIOs, audit committees, and boards of directors to establish governance frameworks that integrate cybersecurity into enterprise strategy and risk management. The primary objective of cybersecurity governance is to align cybersecurity strategy with business strategy while protecting organizational assets, information, and stakeholder interests. Governance ensures that cybersecurity investments, policies, technologies, and organizational capabilities support business objectives while maintaining appropriate risk management and regulatory compliance. Rather than treating cybersecurity as a technical function alone, governance positions cyber resilience as an enterprise-wide leadership responsibility. Effective cybersecurity governance begins with board and executive oversight. Boards of directors establish cyber risk appetite, governance policies, oversight responsibilities, and accountability mechanisms that guide executive management. CFOs contribute by evaluating cyber investments, assessing financial exposures, monitoring cyber insurance, and integrating cybersecurity risks into enterprise risk management and capital allocation decisions. Executive oversight ensures cybersecurity receives appropriate strategic attention alongside other enterprise priorities. Risk management is central to cybersecurity governance. Organizations continuously identify, assess, prioritize, mitigate, and monitor cyber risks across technology infrastructure, financial systems, cloud platforms, third-party vendors, operational technology, and digital ecosystems. CFOs increasingly participate in cyber risk assessments because cyber incidents can directly affect liquidity, financial reporting, business continuity, investor confidence, and shareholder value. Scenario analysis, stress testing, and financial impact modeling enable organizations to evaluate potential cyber disruptions and strengthen organizational resilience. One of the most important elements of cybersecurity governance is information asset protection. Organizations maintain valuable financial records, customer information, intellectual property, supplier data, strategic plans, and employee information that require comprehensive security controls. Governance frameworks establish data classification standards, encryption requirements, identity management, multi-factor authentication, privileged access management, and continuous monitoring to protect critical information assets from unauthorized access or malicious attacks. Cloud computing and digital transformation have significantly expanded cybersecurity governance responsibilities. Modern organizations increasingly operate through cloud-based ERP systems, software as a service, SaaS, applications, AI platforms, digital collaboration tools, and interconnected business ecosystems that extend beyond traditional corporate networks. CFOs support cloud governance by ensuring that cloud investments include appropriate cybersecurity controls, vendor risk management, service-level agreements, regulatory compliance, and disaster recovery capabilities that protect financial operations and enterprise data. Artificial intelligence introduces both opportunities and challenges for cybersecurity governance. AI enhances cybersecurity through anomaly detection, threat intelligence, behavioral monitoring, fraud detection, automated incident response, and predictive risk analysis. At the same time, malicious actors increasingly utilize AI to generate sophisticated phishing attacks, malware, identity fraud, and cyber deception campaigns. CFOs therefore support governance frameworks that promote responsible AI deployment while ensuring adequate controls over AI models, training data, access permissions, and regulatory compliance. Cybersecurity governance also emphasizes third-party and supply chain risk management. Organizations increasingly rely on external vendors, cloud providers, software partners, payment processors, and digital service providers that may introduce cybersecurity vulnerabilities. Governance frameworks require vendor security assessments, contractual security obligations, continuous monitoring, and contingency planning to reduce third-party cyber risks. CFOs evaluate supplier resilience and financial exposure while integrating vendor risks into enterprise governance structures.
Regulatory compliance is another critical dimension of cybersecurity governance. Organizations must comply with evolving privacy regulations, financial reporting standards, cybersecurity disclosure requirements, banking regulations, and industry-specific security frameworks. Governance establishes policies for data retention, privacy management, incident reporting, audit documentation, and regulatory compliance that reduce legal exposure and strengthen stakeholder confidence. CFOs increasingly oversee compliance reporting because cybersecurity incidents often have material financial implications requiring investor and regulatory disclosure. Business continuity and operational resilience are fundamental objectives of cybersecurity governance. Organizations establish incident response plans, disaster recovery capabilities, backup systems, crisis communication procedures, and cyber resilience testing to ensure continuity during cyber incidents. CFOs participate in crisis planning by evaluating financial contingency measures, liquidity requirements, insurance coverage, and operational recovery strategies that minimize disruption and accelerate organizational recovery following cyber events. Human behavior remains one of the largest cybersecurity vulnerabilities. Governance therefore emphasizes employee awareness, cybersecurity education, ethical behavior, phishing simulations, access management, and security culture development throughout the organization. Finance employees often manage highly sensitive financial transactions and executive communications, making cybersecurity awareness essential for fraud prevention and operational integrity. CFOs reinforce cybersecurity culture through leadership engagement, policy enforcement, and continuous capability development. Cybersecurity governance increasingly incorporates continuous monitoring and performance measurement. Organizations utilize security dashboards, key risk indicators (KRIs), vulnerability assessments, penetration testing, threat intelligence, audit findings, incident response metrics, and regulatory compliance indicators to evaluate cybersecurity effectiveness. Boards and executive committees receive regular reporting that supports governance oversight and strategic investment decisions while improving organizational resilience. Environmental, social, and governance (ESG) considerations further elevate cybersecurity governance. Investors increasingly evaluate cybersecurity as a governance issue affecting operational resilience, customer trust, digital responsibility, privacy protection, and long-term enterprise sustainability. Strong cyber governance demonstrates responsible leadership while enhancing stakeholder confidence and organizational reputation. The Global Competency Framework identifies enterprise risk management, governance, digital capability, strategic thinking, leadership, business partnering, communication, performance management, ethical leadership, and organizational transformation as essential competencies for executive finance professionals. Modern CFOs are expected to integrate cybersecurity governance into enterprise strategy by aligning technology investments, financial stewardship, risk oversight, regulatory compliance, and organizational resilience to support sustainable value creation. In today's interconnected digital economy, cybersecurity governance has become an indispensable element of corporate leadership and financial stewardship. Organizations whose CFOs successfully integrate cyber risk management, digital governance, cloud security, regulatory compliance, executive oversight, and organizational resilience into enterprise strategy are better positioned to protect critical assets, maintain stakeholder trust, ensure business continuity, and achieve sustainable long-term enterprise value in an increasingly complex cyber landscape.